The flood of illegal minors hitting the classrooms. Are we all about to get schooled or certainly taxed? From California to Texas, New York, thousands of kids crossing the border illegally now making their way to class if they haven't already. Up to 50,000 of them in total. And if a new report is right, this is costing a bundle, about $760 million this school year alone. It's got the Donald fuming, as in Donald Trump, here in a moment. First to the Washington Examiner's Byron York on how these schools are coping. By law, they have to fulfill this and make it happen, but it doesn't come cheap, does it?
No, not at all. First of all, you're right. They have a legal responsibility to take care of these children when they arrive. Most of the children, by the way, are 14, 15, 16 years old. We've heard reports of the younger children. There are some of them, but most of them are teenagers. They're finding that some of them, maybe 15 years old, have not been in school since the second grade. That is a whole boatload of special needs. They do not speak English. They need tutors. They need subsidized meals. Some of them need psychological counseling after a very difficult trip to the United States. This is all extremely expensive. It adds a lot to the cost per student. Let's say in Texas, cost per student maybe $7,500, at least $9,500 for these children.
All right, so at a minimum, a couple of $1,000 for each unparented kid. And a lot of kids across the country. Now, a lot of these communities, we're told, eventually will give you funding for this, but no funding has yet to arrive. So they have to compensate or make adjustments in other areas of their budgets, don't they?
Yeah, these are the state taxpayers who are doing this. Yes, there is federal money involved. The federal government already subsidizes local school districts, and they will do so probably more for this. But you got to remember, these educators are really flying in the dark right now. You know, Governor Bobby Jindal in Louisiana the other day said, you know, the federal government sent a bunch of unaccompanied minor children to Louisiana and never told the government of Louisiana about it, never told the local governments about it. Basically, school systems are kind of sitting around saying, well, who's going to show up this year? And they know it's going to cost them a lot more than it did before.
And already a lot more than the original estimates. Byron York, thank you very, very much. All right, to Donald Trump, who says he's embarrassed by the president's handling of this border crisis. He joins us right now on the phone. The costs keep mounting. Donald, what do you make of this?
Well, embarrassed by this and embarrassed by virtually everything else that's going on in the country. I mean, it's the United States has become on immigration a dumping ground. And at first I thought actually he did want to keep all of these folks out. And by putting up a wall of sorts, whether it's a human wall or a concrete wall, or whether it's just good, strong police enforcement, you would be able to keep them out. But you have to remember, Mexico is a highway into the United States. They laugh at the United States. They laugh at our total stupidity. They are laughing all the way to the bank. You know, we're sending our industry to Mexico. We're giving tax credits to people that do things in Mexico. And yet we have a Marine who's the only person that can't come into this country. He's all locked up and all shackled up, and he's having the hell beat out of him, from what I understand, by the prisoners and probably the guards in Mexico. This is not a pleasant time he's having. So we can't get a Marine out, but everybody else is pouring into the United States, and it's really disgraceful.
That was certainly the case with Sergeant Tamarisi at the outset. But, Donald, I'd be curious to get what you thought of the president saying Friday night at a fundraiser that much of these crises are overplayed in the media and by the president's opponents, that he kind of just sloughed it off. What did you make of that?
Well, when you have 10,000 people pouring into the borders, on a weekly basis, just pouring in, and nobody, I was listening to what Byron said, which was excellent, and one of the things that nobody says is that some of the language, it's not even Spanish. It's a language that we have no expertise in, because kids are coming in with a language that's a foreign language to everybody, and there's no way of communicating, and there's no way of hiring people to teach them. And the court system is all blocked up, and they're going to be here for many, many years, and it's a typical disaster for the United States, one of many. So you look at what's going on, and it's just one more of many disasters going on during this administration in this country.